feeling was mutual. Later, James Brown told us that he was jealous of Sam. Sam was handsome and tall, and James Brown wasn't.
See this brother winning, man. Hey, look, what is your win, big? What is your win, big? What is your win, big?
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky would be our not Dolce & Gabbana earrings. Ooh, the quality on these is killing it. Okay. Ooh, they killing it. I'm telling y'all, look at this quality. Ooh, sexy. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, hold on. I got to drink my strawberry $5 water juice. Let's continue to talk about Bobby Womack, my story. 1944 to 2014. I'd only had one sexual experience when I was about 12. I had started screwing an older woman. Actually, she was a fair bit older, 32, and married. Married to a guy named Wolf who drove a bus for the city and lived a few blocks away. Her name was Ernestine, or Tina for short. She had a daughter about my age. I'm dead. Oh, that makes it even worse. Oh, you disgusting bitch, you. So when I went over to their place, Wolf naturally thought I was messing around with his kid. That's not okay neither. If I got a 12-year-old girl and a little 12-year-old boy is coming over, that's not okay. Tina was the lady who taught me everything about X. How to give head, how to get head, everything. Oh, this 32-year-old bitch. Ah, you dirty bitch, you. And I mean everything. Serious, I fell for her. I think I might even had been in love. But I was a 12-year-old kid, so what did I know? Definitely had feelings though. I'd get round there and she had a bath running for me. You know why? Because she knew that you was a dirty little boy who played outside. That's why she gave you a bath, because when you came in the house, you probably smelled like every child in the universe, like outside, like woods, like a babbling brook. That's why she bathed your ass, Bobby. I'd had a bath and she would give me a rub down and then rub me off. She'd have some nice clothes laid out that she had bought me. Then I'd go to school. Later, I thought, what had a woman in her 30s been doing with a punk-ass kid? Yeah, ask that question, Bobby. The whole thing pissed my father off, but I ended up sticking with Tina all the way through school, right up to when we left Cleveland to go to California when I was 16. When I told her I was going to join Sam Cooke, she resigned to the fact that I would never go back. I promised her I would move her out after me once I got myself situated, but I didn't. We wrote to each other for a bit, and I asked if she would leave Wolf. She never did. A few years later, she couldn't have been 40. She was dead. That killed me. She was my first love. You know why she was dead? Because she didn't fuck the wrong man's little boy or the wrong woman's little boy. That's why. Dirty bitch. I traveled with the guitar hung over my shoulder, gunslinger style. That's what I saw myself as, a hired guitar. One day, he walking around with his guitar. He feeling good about himself, right? You know, oh, I'm a bad mother hunchy. Sammy Cookie didn't bring me out here to the California, okay? So I'm a bad mother. One day, He's looking across the street, and it's a whole bunch of musicians waiting outside of a building. Kind of reminded me of that movie that Denzel Washington had produced. What's the name of it? Was it Fat Belly Bubba? Fat Belly Bitch? Big Belly? Anyway, the lady, Viola Davis, was in it, and she was old bulldagger. Ooh, that movie traumatized me, child. She had an old beautiful girlfriend, okay? But like I told y'all about that, it may look like the young, pretty girlfriend, she getting everything she want. But eventually, that young, pretty girlfriend gonna have to drop on her knees to that big, fat belly Bubba. Yeah, he's standing, he looking over, right? And all these musicians are looking like they fitting to go into this back door to this building, right? He like, well, I got my guitar. Let me roll on in there with them. Let me take a shot. A guy opened a side door to the building and ushered them in. And I hopped across the street to join the back of the quarry. No one raised an eyebrow. We trooped into a massive soundproofed room. I bagged myself a chair near the other guitar players. Then I saw a sign chalked up over by the piano. It said, Session 1, Dean Martin. I thought to myself, oh my, this is the big league. The guy had set up. Then they wanted to know which part I was going to play. Do you want to take the first part or the second part? I couldn't read music. The sheets in front of us looked like Chinese. We got playing, me following, and it worked. Okay, for a while. We were cooking, but every time there was a hole in the music, I'd fill it. And I'd fill it with wacky wah blues notes. I didn't figure the holes were there for a reason. I was just bullshitting all the way through. I made a whole load more fills when the guy in charge called, Stop, stop. Everyone stopped. This guy, Earl Palmer, said, I want you to go through the bit again. The horns sound a little strange. And the guitar player with the black suit on, that would be the Bobby. I looked around and Palmer was pointing at me. Yes, you. Can you come over here for a little while, please? There was a chuckle from a couple of the old salts playing trumpet as I unstrapped my guitar and made my way to the front in a tattered suit. I realized I didn't look a bit like any of those pros in the room. It was a long walk all the way to the front. Earl asked who called me for the session. I played it like a dumbass and said the same guy that had called everyone else. I could feel those musicians' eyes burning into my neck. Earl pushed me and finally admitted that I'd just chanced upon the guys in the street outside and joined them. I'm trying to get on my feet, I pleaded. He told me I had to be in the union if I wanted a call. But he fished out some bucks and told me to pack up my guitar and little practice amp. The thing about it was, I didn't want to take down my gear in front of the other musicians. But then Palmer called a break. And when the other musicians took 5 for a cigarette, I snatched up my guitar, yanked the amp plug out the wall, and ran out. As I took off past the session guys huddled in the shade on Vine Street, I could hear the laughter roar after me. I rounded a corner, dumped the guitar, and sank to the floor. Man, this musician thing was hard. Many years later, when I was one of the best guitar players around, I found myself on another session with Earl Palmer. Palmer laughed. He couldn't believe he'd thrown Bobby Womack out of a recording session. You're not him, are you? He asked. The same scrawny kid with the shiny suit? I nodded. Oh, yeah, that was me. Ooh, okay, give me 2 minutes, right? So let me tell you something. I do get a lot of compliments about my looks, right? But I think it's because I look like my grandmother and my mother, okay? Or my maternal grandmother and my mother, okay? So I don't think I'm attractive. I just think that the women's that I came from are attractive, right? And that's why a lot of people be like, Nay, you're 50? Man, I'm telling you, it's genetics. On my father's side, their skin is perfection, okay? And on my mother's side, the women are very beautiful. I mean, it's crazy, right? But at any rate, it was this guy who, I mean, I thought he was the most handsome thing in the world, right? He went to Where did he go to? But anyway, he was like that it guy, right? His father owned House of Champions, and if you hoes know who it is, shut up, okay? But his father owned House of Champions around there on Georgia Avenue back in the day, and I just thought he was so attractive. But when he saw me, he thought that I was bleh, that I was just a little girl when he saw me, and he wasn't nothing but probably 2 years older than me. Plus, you know, the girl that he was messing with at the time was like a fly Betty it type girl, okay? So old regular Nene was not going to be enough for him, child. But then later on in years, he rolled up on me. He didn't remember me, but I remembered him. I remembered him because I lived on Morton Street, and Morton Street was at Georgia and Morton. So I was always walking past the House of Champions all the time, child. He rolled up on me and was like, "Oh my God, you're beautiful." And I said, "You don't remember me, muff?" And he was like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't know you." "Oh, I was that little girl who you would never look twice at." "I'm sorry, I don't know you." "I'm Nene." "I'm sorry." "Yeah, that's why. See, you still don't know who I am, motherfucker. You still fine as shit, but I don't like you. I used to like you, but I don't like you no more." Sam Cooke thought the best way to lick the Valentinos into shape was to put us out on the road to learn our craft. We'd be bottom of the bill, but we had some pretty cool teachers. One of them was James Brown. Sam knew what he was doing. He told J.W. Alexander that the Valentinos needed to get hardened up and broke in. They decided Brown was the best man for the job. It's not like Sam and Brown were close. They respected each other, but I knew Sam thought Brown was an arrogant motherfucker, a real rough ghetto kid. He also believed Brown was going the long way around to getting with the white audience, and Sam reckoned he didn't have that kind of time. He wanted to go straight to the source. The feeling was mutual. Later, James Brown told us that he was jealous of Sam. Sam was handsome and tall, and James Brown wasn't. Where's the lie? The big payback. Dun, dun, dun. I need some get back. Payback. The greatest James Brown song in the goddamn world, but it's a monkey singing it. Okay? It's a monkey with a wig on singing it. Sit back and relax and enjoy the James Brown story. Here it goes. Either way, Sam knew that James could do a job on us, and he and JW booked us with Brown on what became a boot camp style musical apprenticeship. Sam's parting shot to us was, "Don't fuck with James Brown. He will give you boys hell." James Brown was more than a decade older than me, born in South Carolina in 1933. His old man pumped gas, and he spent most of his early years in his auntie's brothel. After school ended for him, he picked cotton, shined shoes, washed just about everything from dishes to cars. Then he was busted for armed robbery and served some jail time, which is where he met Bobby Byrd. Byrd played baseball against the prison team, which James played on as a pitcher. Brown had hoped to turn pro when he ended his stretch. Later, they used this as inspiration for one of their stage routines. All the band wore baseball caps and carried baseball bats. They'd sing and dance, strike one bop, and then go on to another song. You'd think you were watching a baseball game. Once he finished his jail time, Brown started to work with Byrd, a pianist, in bars and clubs around Georgia. Later, he joined Byrd's gospel group, the Three Swannies, who later became the black music review, the Famous Flames. In 1956, James Brown took over the Famous Flames. Dig that. Now, in the movie, I thought that James Brown was a nigga. Okay, because I was like, why is he treating Bobby like that? Bobby is just his backbone, right? But as I continue to read, you're going to see how basically James Brown just bulldozed Bobby. And Bobby kind of let it happen, according to what we read and the movie. In 1956, James Brown took over the Famous Flames. Bobby Byrd was supposed to be James Brown, but James wanted to be number one. James had more razz and was a better singer. He always... Wait a minute, James Brown was a singer? Okay, all right, we'll go with that. Okay. I mean, either way, it sounded good, whether he was singing or rapping or whatever it was he was doing. I mean, it was incredible, but I wouldn't consider him a singer. He was always loyal to Byrd, but back then he treated him just like a puppet. Byrd and James were about the same height, and they would dance together on stage, but off stage, James would twist Byrd any way he wanted, and I saw Byrd cry because of the stuff James Brown did to him. By the time I met James in 1962, he was already a big performer with a couple of hits under his belt. Please, Please, Please in 1956 and Try Me in 58. In October 1962, Brown was hooked up to play a 7-night stand at the Apollo Theater in New York's Harlem. The Valentinos were also on the bill, sharing the stage with Soul Man Solomon Burke, the Texas blue guitar player Freddie King, and the comic pigment Markham. Brown played 5 shows a day, and we matched. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit Up Top Beauty for our not Dolce and Gabbana earrings. I think I got them on wrong, y'all. I think I'm supposed to put them on the other. I'm going to do them the other way the next video. Anyway, people, remember this. The same people you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. You babies, have a good one. Peace.